Natasha Maurice Gannaway is a nurse, mom, wife, and fitness enthusiast.
I've worked in fitness for it's going to be 25 years, teaching exercise class anywhere from Pilates to yoga to boxing to anything you can think of.
She is also a lifelong dog lover and donates her free time to the Florida Poodle Rescue.
This is the only thing I do aside from nursing and exercise. These are my job. This is the only hobby I've ever had. If I can't walk my dogs, it's very hard for me. If I cannot interact with my dogs or save them and be involved, this is my hobby. This is what.
But her exercise and dog rescue nearly came to a halt in 2015.
I've had sciatica on and off, and it passed. But then this time it wasn't so much in the hip, it was in my spine, and it kept going up and up and up. But then predominantly it was my shoulders, my neck and shoulders that were stiff as a board. And every day I could not move in the morning. And the pain was somebody stabbing me constantly all day long, in my spine. It is the highest level of pain I've had for the longest amount of time. It was very, it was very bad. I can't even imagine, and nothing relieved it. It was very frightening. It slowly progressed in a matter of probably 6 weeks. It went to a level, 3 or 4 out of the 10 pain level, all the way to 10. So it became worse and worse, and it was not, couldn't stop it.
Natasha tried a number of solutions for her pain.
I did not practice nursing, so I did take, prescription medication, which I'm very against taking because I don't believe they do a whole lot of good. But medication, ice repositioning, massage, chiropractor, and nothing worked.
She continued to work through the pain, but taking care of her rescued dogs became harder and harder.
Yeah, I've handled, the larger dogs. One of them, my 58-pound standard that I wanted to groom that weekend. It took me 3 days to do the grooming because I didn't have the physical ability to hold the clipper that long, so I had to do it a little bit at a time. As far as doing work for the rescue, it's not only just picking up dogs, it's traveling, driving for some time, a couple hours. It's being on the phone, talking to people. And when you're in pain, I know I was not nice. And I got to the point where I just didn't want to interact with people on the phone because I know I sounded irritated, I sounded angry, and it's not the person's fault. The pain progressed where I couldn't walk my dogs. It was very hard for me to exercise, to teach classes. It was impossible for me to practice nursing. I was in pain, and the pain did not stop, and it was increasing.
Eventually, Natasha consulted with her general practitioner.
My general practitioner sent me to a rheumatologist. The rheumatologist then told me I had fibromyalgia, just take pain pills. Then one day I went to a chiropractor, and he ordered an MRI, which I wanted all along. And when I saw the MRI, I knew something was very wrong. He even looked at the picture, and because I looked at my MRI in the parking lot of the radiology place, and he said something is very, very wrong. And I said, I know, but he said, you cannot, we can do this and this over a 2-year period time, come 3 times a week. I don't have 3 hours 3 times a week for the next 3 years. And then he said, you can have surgery, and then you will end up more crippled than you are today. And I said, okay. And I did not let him manipulate my spine because I saw what I saw on the MRI. And I'm not a radiologist. And he didn't need to be either.
Natasha kept searching for answers, and then a friend reached out to her.
She sent me a Facebook message to go to the institute. She goes to the Bonati Institute. They do miracles over there.
Natasha sent her MRI to the Bonati Spine Institute.
Dr. Bonati called me. And I listened to the voicemail several times, and he called me and he said, this is Dr. Bonati, and I know what your problem is, and I know how to fix it. And I said, amen. It was the first a doctor calls me back. That's, very rare. But this man, had the answer. And I'm like, okay. He said, okay, this is where your pain is. And no joke, I was at my counter. He said, this is what your pain is. Here, 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 exactly. To the finger, to the side. And I'm like, and he had never seen me. And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay, this is what I have to do. And he told me what I had to do. And this is what I did. He's the only doctor who called me with a solution.
When you know where those nerves go, and the patient had in the x-rays some deformities, and those deformities are also corroborated on the MRIs, then you know that the clinic, the observation, the x-rays, and the MRI put together a picture. When you have that picture, you can tell the patient, I believe that this is your pain. You can amaze the patient, but the doctor gets amazed too, because usually you can repeat this all the time. And I never get tired to tell the patient, I think your pain is here, but when the patient said to me, yeah, you're right, that's my pain.
Natasha was diagnosed with a number of issues, including degenerative disc disease, stenosis, bulging and herniated discs, and bone spurs in her cervical and thoracic spine areas. She had her first Bonati spine procedure in August of 2015.
I walked one of the dogs that night because they told me to walk. And really, I was in very little pain. I mean, yes, I was in pain. Of course, I took, some pain medication that night. I mean, I had surgery. But other than that, I was... and then the next day, somebody bought me a little dog to rescue, and I was fine. I never experienced the stiffness and the pain all over my spine that I did before. Never. And I never want to.
She had additional Bonati spine procedures in October and December of that year. She remembers communicating with Dr. Bonati while in the OR.
Dr. Bonati would touch the nerve in the spine, and I watch it on the screen. Not everybody can watch but I watch it on the screen. He was touching the nerve, and it would tell me, does this hurt, does this not hurt? And depending on my answer, he would, clean up the nerve or do whatever he had to do.
It's the same thing that if I will grab your hand and I will say, is this your thumb? Then you go, yeah, that's my thumb. But that's exactly where the patient feels, because you need to be very gentle. You're not going to punch the nerve or something like that. You just rub a little bit the surface of the nerve, and the patient goes, whoa, 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 that's my pain. I recognize that's what hurts me. And now you go and say, is this exactly where you hurt? And usually they go, no, it's a little bit more lower, or it's a little more higher. And then you just move the probe till you reach the area.
Natasha is back to being physically active and spending her free time helping rescued poodles and finding caring homes. She has advice for anyone trying to cope with crippling back pain.
The Bonati procedures are short in time-wise, a short procedure. You awake for most of it. You communicate with the surgeon. The recovery is very short, and you're able to function that day. And you don't have to stay in the hospital. You don't have to. You have very little restriction. Chronic pain is not good for your health. To live in constant pain, it's a stress on your body. So don't live in constant pain. Pain medication do not fix the problem. It can create problems. And life is too short to be in pain.